Stop!
Hi everyone, my name is Artur Kurasiński, and for over 10 years I've been observing and explaining how technology influences us, people and society. I'm greeting you from the studio inside the Innovation Campus in Warsaw, Poland. The podcast series is called Early Adopters Nook, where we invite innovative startups to talk about the products and how it's changing the world. My today's guest is Parysz, CEO of LogicAI. How are you, Maria? How are you doing?
I'm fine. A bit tense at the moment because,
Please don't be. It's going to be fine, I assure you. And my first question is, what is LogicAI and how it works?
Okay, so this should be a very easy question, and I should say what my company does, but maybe I will start with something different. Actually, LogicAI is a vision, and it was my and my business partner's vision from the very beginning. I mean, almost 4 years we've been doing AI for our clients, and we knew that AI is not such an easy subject. I mean, like, we do consulting, we do trainings, we do software development. We have delivered more than 50 projects in the last 3 years for biggest companies like Rolls-Royce, Louis Vuitton, Sephora, all across the globe. The same for ministries in Poland, in UAE. We are an official data science supplier for Ministry of Interior in Abu Dhabi in UAE, and Kuwait Oil, Aramco, so on and so forth. But what I want to say right now is, like, LogicAI is a vision for a digitalized company, and you cannot assume that this is just software, just an algorithm, just a training, just an advisory, just a digitalization strategy or whatever, right? This is like everything in one bundle. So that's why our services are very broad, and we can support our companies on every step on their customer journey. I mean, this digitalization journey that sometimes is very hard. And to give you an example, I was an advisor to the board of Rolls-Royce for digitalization, for community building, because we know that people usually are the bottleneck, and there is not enough data scientists in the world. That's why from the very beginning, we decided to build a community, because we knew that 3 years ago it wasn't so much, but right now we know this is like the main bottleneck everywhere, in like on all continents. Everybody needs good data scientists and data literate business people. So we created, together with Kaggle and with Google, community. When I started doing it, it wasn't a community at all, and it was less than 1 million people. Now we are more than 6 million strong.
Oh my God.
And we are the biggest community of data scientists and AI experts in the world. Organizing conferences, meetups, a lot of activities, and most of all this learning community that everybody can participate. And this is amazing, because we know that we are doing something for good, because this is like non-profit stuff. But again, you can combine everything, right? And as you can see, we have access to those people. So we do a lot for them, and on the other hand, we take a lot because we have access to the best talents. And so again, LogicAI is a vision of making the world a better place. I know that this sounds cheesy, but seriously, this is what we do. And the third area that we are very active in is the ethical AI. And LogicAI, again, from the very beginning, knew that we will build something amazing. We won several data science competitions, more than a dozen international ones, and we have data science champions on board. But we decided that we want to use it for something good. We won one of the competitions that we won was Rexis less than 2 years ago. It's the biggest competition for recommendation systems in the world. We competed with NVIDIA and we won.
Oh my God.
And this was amazing. This was amazing. But we know, okay, so we have this talent in our hand and opportunity. How should we use it? So, okay, we can build another amazing, super strong, fast recommendation system, or again, we can do tweak it a bit and do something different. So we have created the first in the world ethical and privacy-oriented recommendation system. So again, our company is let me say, some kind of a thoughtful leader, creating and starting this movement of ethical AI products applied. There is a lot of discussions around the regulations,
Yes.
how ethical AI should look like. But we said, okay, let's start doing. Okay, talking is good, but the next step after talking is like data scientists implementing the things that were discussed. And we know that not from the beginning, we cannot like succeed from the beginning. We have to do lots of iterations before we find this ideal definition of ethical AI. So we started from different angle. We started doing it, product is ready, it's promoted, and actually we've been on the market for the last 2-3 months, and we are looking for e-commerces to apply our ethical recommendation system.
How one can become a data scientist? How can you plan your career as a data scientist?
You have to start with a curiosity and understanding what data science is. So it's there are basically 2 paths. One is that you are in technology already and you're a programmer. And then it's like, depending on the programming languages that you know, you have to like adapt, usually Python. You can adapt also Rust. It's becoming more and more popular. But Python mainly, and you have to learn a lot of libraries and understand how data science works. But this is not that hard, seriously.
Isn't it?
It's not. It's not. For people who are already in science or in programming, it's not that difficult. And if they know the business already, business of banking, of e-commerce, of I don't know, of any other, of health, of insurance, it makes it easy for them to become data scientists. It usually takes less than a year and a half because they are good programmers already. And the second area the second path is for people who are not data literate yet and who do not know how to code. Because if you take this Venn diagram of data science, and there are 3 circles. One is of statistics and maths. Second is computer programming. And the third is business knowledge, business understanding, right? So if a person is already in the business, he or she needs to at least understand and have this programming skills. I don't want to say like programming abilities, because this might be too much for those people at the very beginning, but they have to understand basic concepts of maths, of statistics, of programming, of the same of libraries, how those systems are built, what is this philosophy and theory standing behind. So this might be a bit more challenging, although I always say that it's easier to learn data science than to learn business. So if you can imagine a person that spent the last 10 years or 5 or any number, but more than 4 years in particular business, he or she knows the business. And it's easier to adapt data science skills than to do the other way around. So to teach the programmer or a data scientist the business. Because this is what I always say. It's like AI was built and created to help businesses be stronger, faster, cheaper, smarter, to increase customer experience, to seriously make our world better place, easier. Like I said, everything and it can be delivered at the same time. This is what AI is, at least for me. And you have to understand business for this, because there is a lot of algorithms. Algorithms are relatively easy to be created. Actually, you can take, if you can code at least a bit, you can create an algorithm in less than 2 hours, 3 hours, and it will work. It will deliver you the actual outcome that you expect, but it won't be the business value. This is something different. Of course, majority of data scientists would say yes, because most of our work we spend on data cleansing. Yeah, okay, I agree. But again, you can clean the data. It can be the cleanest data, the best prepared in the world. You can have the best algorithm. And in the end, it can be like an algorithm that won't be used by anyone because it's useful. Sorry, it's useless for the business. Because business didn't know how to create the expectations and the definition of the algorithm, what the algorithm should do. And the same for metrics, because okay, let's imagine business was involved in this process of creation, and we built this algorithm based on clean data, and now let's verify whether it works. And now it's very hard because the metrics are not usually set at the beginning. So we are like, let's do an algorithm. It will make our environment better. And it's like 70% of accuracy. Is it good or is it bad? Oh, come on. I don't know. Or if, for example, majority of clients use it or don't use it, what are the expectations? Like, it's very difficult because the process is complete, and it's not. Because we perceive AI to be just data cleansing, algorithm, testing, and implementation. It's actually, if I would say, in the whole building of AI solutions, AI value, the data science as I described it now would be just this part, just the small part, and the whole business understanding, implementation, change management, the same metrics, upgrading the system, learning it. It's like a bigger process, and for this you need data scientists and programmers. For this you need data literate business, and this is not existent.
Okay, so from your perspective, is it better to plan your career as a data scientist right now, or maybe a person with a broader vision, like you said, the person who taking care of business? So in my opinion, it will be much more like a product manager or business owner.
Yeah, yes, absolutely right.
So there is a hope for people like us who cannot, I mean personally, I cannot code. So I'm mostly focusing on like just the bigger picture. And from my perspective, it will be better for me to be a person in charge of, running a project, but not coding or just all being the data scientist. So there's a hope for me.
Oh my gosh. Yes, definitely there is, because data scientists, like I shown you, they are doing maybe 20% of the job, very important.
Yeah, of course.
But 80% is on the business side, and it depends on whether you like maths and you like statistics or not. So it's like data scientists and generally tech people, they love to use very difficult terms for
deep learning.
Like deep learning. What is this like? Or machine learning. This is my favorite. We could just call it predicting the future based on the historical data. It's more like human-like, right? But we call it machine learning, and everybody is afraid because everybody expects that like a high level of coding skills, it would take 2 years, 3 years, and it's so hard because this is maths, and everybody hates maths. Actually, it's not so much. Python can be taught in 2 months. Up to some kind of a fluency. Yes, there is a lot of libraries, and actually there is more business understanding and understanding of a logic standing behind deep learning and machine learning to use it. Why? Because on the market you have lots and lots of already created algorithms and libraries that you just pick some elements from and you create a system out of it. It's like Lego blocks. So of course you have to understand what the code does, but in my opinion you don't have to be as fluent. Of course there is still a group of people who have to code, who have to like be able to tweak the code, but I would say that there are like 3 stages that you can be in. One is the programmer, because you like maths, you like programming, so on. The second stage is like in the middle, like the group of people who understand how this works. These are more like business analysts who can listen to the business, and they are able to transfer their vision into different data science tools because they know it. They know how this works. And the third group, like business data literate people, who like give money for this and verify later on the later stage whether it works or not, and can say, okay, this was worthwhile, this was not. So definitely, in my opinion, the future of work in businesses as we know them, it will change into probably at least 50% of the current staff will change their skills into one of those three types.
Awesome. You mentioned ethical AI. What is ethical AI?
Oh, I love this topic. I don't know even where to start.
Okay, so let me help you. Why we need ethical AI?
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. This is a difficult question, but maybe I'll start from this angle. You probably heard what has happened with Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Everybody knows. It's like a common example. The same with Brexit. And everybody says this awful Cambridge Analytica, this awful Facebook, this awful Trump. What did they do? Actually, there's one question that is not commonly asked. Who did this? Who actually created these algorithms to process the data and to give outcomes? Because, those data scientists who worked on this knew what the outcome will be.
Of course.
And of course, we can say that this is like double-edged sword. Yes, because, we just create tools. We don't know what will happen with them. It's like we are innocent. We just make money, big money actually, out of other companies' needs, and we use AI for this. And this is commonly described. Use excuse. Yes, I would say that, of course, I would like to hold data scientists responsible, maybe not completely responsible, but somewhat responsible for what has happened, because they knew what the outcome can be. And as a designer, you probably know that you have to understand how your product can be used in the right way and in the wrong way. And all you can do is at least to do the instructions to create some pieces of a code that are optional. You can do a lot of elements, but first of all, you can define and design the product in such a way that it's a bit better. So I believe that creating ethical AI is this. So data scientists should start thinking how their work will be used, because they are not dumb. Seriously, these are super smart people. So they know what AI can do at the moment, how it can be used, and they can choose the companies to work for, and they can choose on what projects they want to work on. So this ethical AI for us is like actual implementation of what people talk and discuss. And this is what RecoAI is. It's one of our products. It's a recommendation system that not only gives the client ability to choose and to shop better, and most of all, it's doesn't use third-party cookies. So we respect the client's privacy. And we are faster. So it's common misunderstanding, because sometimes data scientists say, if you want to use that technology to this extent that it's super fun, it's you have to abuse the data. You have to do it you have to use all of it. We say, no, you don't. Because we created a system that is 4 times faster and stronger than competition. And it's still ethical. So again, if you think about ethical AI from this point of view, it's everything starts with the design in your mind and in the mind of a data scientist, how the data will be used. And we believe, and this is a shout out to all the data scientists here who listen to me, please remember that the world you create with AI right now is the world that you will live in, and your children and your friends and your family will live in. So I believe that you can use your talents for any purpose. But my call to you is we are so few, talented data scientists, just use it for good. If not, within your, let me say, normal working hours, after hours, choose a project that can utilize your talent for something amazing. And in September, we'll have a special conference that I can invite you to already.
All right.
We will present ethical AI applications. So we will present projects from across the globe, and we'll discuss how to approach it, whether it's true that ethical AI is worse. Actually, it's not. It can be as strong, and the technology can be as good as, let me say, the normal one. So we will present the companies, we will present some legal elements, we will present also the customer perspective and the sponsor's perspective, because it's like, I always say that it's like with the bioproducts. Like 20 years ago, when somebody would tell you, okay, we have this ecological food, buy it, you'd say, wow, like 50% more expensive?
Yes.
Why should I buy it?
For the same carrot or whatever.
For the same carrot, yes. Now we gladly pay even twice as much.
Yes.
And it will be the same, exactly the same with AI, because already 60% of customers don't trust companies to handle their data in a responsible way. The same, we don't trust recommendations. Why? Because the recommendations already has like blinded us. They are like suggesting us the product that are sponsored. And they say, suggested to you, sponsored product. Here you go, Artur.
Yes.
And the same, like always you get products with the highest margin, with the highest price. Why? Are those the products that I actually would buy? No, I want to have a choice. I want to have a conversation with an e-commerce, with a website that I enter. I give my data, but in return, I want an actual advice. And this is what we provide. So our system will go with a special stamp, I mean like a certificate, guaranteeing that on this website there are ethical recommendations. And we can do it because we are real time. So we do it like instantly. I will give you an example how to verify it right now. If you enter a website and you are looking for black pants, right? And you get some recommendations and you want to get some more, you will get them, but on the next day, because it's like usually it's like batch processing, so it's processed overnight, so you'll get the recommendation next day when you won't be looking for the same product, because the next day you will be looking for a pink backpack. And will you get recommendations for a big pink backpack? No. You'll get recommendations for black pants. So this is useless. And what real-time recommendations do, they instantly analyze your activity on the website, your history of search, yes, and so on and so forth. And it provides you with an actual real-time experience. And if you say, because in our system you can click, I don't like this product, I will remember. I will never show this product to you, and I will understand what you are talking to me, my customer. So I help you better. The same, you can, of course, opt out from recommendations if you don't want them. But most of all, you can, like, this is like exchanging information with the customer. With the customer, you cannot say, I like this recommendation. You cannot. But if you like, and you just click the like button or the heart or whatever, it means for me, okay, he's looking for this. Yes, I can help him. And due to the fact that we are real time and we can provide the recommendations in 100 milliseconds, seriously, so less than a second. After this click, I can serve you another set of recommendations, and you might say, okay, I like this better or not. So definitely we want to increase customer experience, like shoppers experience, because we believe that this is the future, because now people are blinded because they cannot do otherwise. But imagine in 2 years, there will be twice as much e-commerces probably as it is now available. And you won't have 5 e-commerces to choose from. You will have 20. And which of them you will choose? If they offer exactly the same, maybe with small difference in price, you will choose the one that guarantees you nice customer experience, respects you, do not sell your data, do not abuse it in any way, and is your trusted partner, right? And the same, you will be able to say that they care for you. Maybe not in the short term, definitely in the long term. So we also build this loyalty. And the numbers are, you can get up to 35% of the revenue from recommendations only. You can increase loyalty by 10%, and people are willing to pay at least 6% more for a product that is sustainable.
That's huge. That's huge. I'm a guy who has some experience in e-commerce, so I can tell you that if you can approach me and say, hey, I will approve you only by 1% your sales, your revenue, that's incredibly high. So yeah, I do believe that in the near future, the guys like you or your organization, or what you guys trying to push, it will be here, because right now we have this common grounds when the big tech companies are trying to do whatever they want. The first, the second, there's like no law, because AI is something very new, and we as a users, as a persons, as a citizens, we have to oblige. I mean, like, we have to do what they want us to do. So there's like one side relationship, and it's not good for us as a customers, people who wants to trust the world outside. Because every time I search something on the internet, I would love to believe that the results are on the page are because I was, this is the best choice for me, not because somebody paid for this. Well, we both know that's completely not true. But yeah, so you said that your organization, your movement, your community called Ethical AI will be presenting your agenda. But the question is, do you have any feedback for the big companies? Are they all wanted to go with you, or just observing and saying, there's like few people gathering and saying something, and we will still be doing the same as we did previously?
I don't talk to them, so I cannot tell you what they are saying about me. But probably they do not notice us because we are too small. And it's like, it's like the same situation it was as it was with Amazon and with Walmart. Walmart said, okay, there will be a small e-commerce, right? They will never, upscale out to the they will never be our competition, right? Now situation looks absolutely different, and I can see that the situation will be different, but in a couple of years. Right now we are a niche product, because majority of companies perceive our product as something for something. It's like limited vision, and this like this philosophy of limited resources, like win or lose game. If you get recommendations that are ethical, they are probably faulty. They are less efficient. They are slower. It's not it. But this is the common understanding, which is absolutely false. And I believe that the more examples we have of ethical AI, the better we will be in the future, because we have to make a lot of mistakes. And I believe that our product is quite advanced right now, but there should be a lot of others following us, saying, okay, now we'll create an ethical search, an ethical, for example, other something for health, or maybe we'll create some ethical predictions based on what a particular person is looking for right now, or predictions for maybe some working schedules, some banking products, so on and so forth. I can imagine that in every area of our business activity, ethical AI should have place. Just imagine this situation, that you are absolutely sure that the customer credit, banking credit that you will get, is applied to you based on a real data that you supplied. And there is no like a ridiculous algorithm saying that differentiating between the nationality, between gender, so on and so forth. This is another level of ethical AI, like this AI without bias, without racism. And like, we are at the beginning of the road. So I have to admit that we don't even have this common dictionary to name it. We have just ethical AI, responsible AI, and that's it. So there should be at least 10, 20 more descriptions and wording for what we do. And there is not, because now data scientists, I don't know why, because maybe they don't have examples. not yet, because this is super fresh, this is super new. But I believe and I want our world to be better in terms of AI usage, because this is super powerful. And the earlier we start using it for good, the earlier customers will know, okay, this is like an actual opportunity. Because if there is no opportunity, how should they know that we exist? And how should they know, okay, I'm stuck with this ABC company.
Yeah.
And they abuse my data, but I'm stuck at home.
But I don't
I'm
have
in this
any
COVID
option,
situation. I have family, I have children, they don't go to school. I have like loads and loads of things to handle. And I have to do this e-commerce or grocery shopping online. So, and I don't have any other choice. I will do it, right? Because of the necessity. But they don't have a choice right now. If they would, then I'm absolutely sure that especially Generation Y, I mean millennials and Generation Z, we have hard numbers standing, confirming this thesis, will choose the ethical products, ethical AI, because they know how dangerous this can be. And they know that they can vote with their feet, not feet, but clicks. and they know that they just, numbers say and the research say that they are just expecting it. They don't see it otherwise happening. You know what I mean? It's like millennials, my generation say, okay, it would be nice if we have it. The Z generation say,
yes,
this is obvious.
Yeah.
It should be. It's like, it should be present. How is it possible it's not secure, it's not private, that it's not respectful, right? So this is the future that we have to prepare ourselves, and we believe that while e-commerces didn't have this opportunity, they have right now.
Okay, wonderful. Let's get back to your company, to LogicAI. I read some of the recommendation on your website, and one particularly interested me. You created a prediction algorithms, predicted a crime. I mean, like, this is like Minority Report in action. Can you tell me just a little bit more about this? In Dubai.
Yeah, in Dubai. It was an amazing project, and I still remember it was 2 years ago, and I sat with Dubai policemen. I was sitting in a room with 25 of them. I was the only woman then, the only one. And it was quite funny because nobody told me, it was one of my first meetings in Dubai, that I as a woman shouldn't like give my hand, shouldn't welcome them with opening, with like offering to shaking my hand, and nobody shake my hand. They were like, oh, what should I do? And they ran away from me. But however, they respected me as a data scientist from the very beginning. But so this cultural things aside, it was funny. I never did the same mistake. So we discussed, and we have chosen from more than 10 different potential AI projects. And we decided that this one is the most challenging one, because what Dubai, considered as one of the safest cities in the world, wanted to achieve is that a police patrol would reach a particular place of a crime, of incident, in less than 6.5 minutes. This at the time was a record time. Maybe it still is, I haven't checked. Although, so it's not like a Minority Report when you, let me say, can analyze what the people think and verify where, when, and who exactly will commit the crime. Not to this extent, maybe in the future, but not for now.
Version 2.0.
Yeah, version 2.0. Now let's focus on this 1.0, which was actually analyzing the data of the crimes, in particular districts. So to define and predict in what districts, what time, how many, and in what type the crimes will happen or incidents, right? And if you know in a particular districts, quite small, like Uber does, right?
Yeah.
So if you predict in this small space when, where, and how this will happen, and of one type, you can optimize and you can define and replace somehow and plan, most of all, plan the patrols, police patrols,
the route,
the route, how they should, like, you know, how they should move, and how many people there should be, because for some crimes you need 2 people, and for some of them you need just 1. So it's like amazing, optimization of for the cost, and the same because in Dubai you have a lot of queues and traffic. For some of those, they could like be. Policemen could reach the particular place of the crime by motorcycle. So this is another optimization. So actually, this project was divided into 2 parts. One was the prediction for the districts, and the second one to optimize the police patrols, how they should drive to reach this particular goal. From the moment that the crime, the incident was recorded, so either by phone or by smartphone or by any other way of communicating with police. So amazing project, and we know that we did good.
Okay, how do you see AI evolving? Aren't you worried about the opinions that we are building a tool that we may lose control over? Because, you know, just like we said, it's like ethical, unethical problems. We deal with the big corporations, you know, gathering lots of information about our world, you know, particular us as a users. So you just said that AI can be a double a sword that you can use to defend, but also you can use to attack. So from your perspective, from your background and experience, well, how do you see the future of AI?
Oh, Artur, this is like, how much time do you have?
Well, exactly. That's just.
Okay, so maybe I will try to be. I'll try to be very brief on this. I believe that we perceive AI as a robot, usually like a kind of a Terminator that can like literally physically go somewhere and shoot, right? Because we are taught by Hollywood movies that it can look like this, and actually there are some robots, shooting robots that can actually do this, but it's like, let's plug them off, and take data from them, and they will stop. So it's like not that advanced as we might imagine. This is one thing, but more important for me is the algorithms that are not physically, they are not humanoid in any way. They are like viruses, and once they enter internet and they have a very specific goal in mind, and they can optimize themselves, gather data, and but you know, it's like, I cannot believe that it will happen just like this. Probably because of some human mistake, maybe like this might happen. But you know what? Like at this point in time, you probably know that this great vision of AI overcoming, like human intelligence. This was expected to happen right now in 2020. Some would say 2035, and you know this time is pushed forward on and on. And the singularity moment, we don't know if it ever will happen. And I believe that we shouldn't focus on what will happen in the future, because we absolutely don't know what the crazy person in any crazy place will think of and what resources they will have. We don't know. We can focus on now, and now will affect the future. So we tend to focus and think about, okay, what will happen in the future, how AI will look like. It will look like we want to look like, we want it to look like in the future, but we are here and we do little I expect and I demand from data scientists and from big companies that handle the data, meaning Google, Facebook, Tesla, Amazon, and others, I require from them much more because they are responsible for what they are creating. But let's start today. So let's start with those small ethical AI products, smaller, bigger ones, discussions, and we'll get there. And by action today, we can guarantee that the future will be better because we will not it's like what Andrew Ng is saying. I cannot predict what will happen on Mars in like 20 years. Like, let's focus on what's happening now on Earth, because the technology will change like 1,000 of times, and it will change due to how we are using it today. So let's now focus on creating the most and the biggest number of ethical, or maybe not so much tried to be ethical solution, and verify how we are doing. And upon this, let's continue.
Fascinating. I mean, like, I think we could sit here and talk for hours about the progress, the directions of this progress, and it's fascinating me that we have lots of tools, we have lots of knowledge already, and we still don't know how to use it, because the particular reason that Tesla is using the data from the cars, it's because they wanted us as people, as the drivers, to have a better car. But like always, there's like side projects that they starting to exist because of the possibilities of the tools that are already created, and we don't know what can be created out of the Tesla's, IP and driving cars, whatever.
Definitely.
And right now, like you said, all we can do is just focus on to be able to produce the better cars we can, the safest cars we can, and in terms of next 10, 20 years, we actually are pretty useless. I mean, like, we're helpless because we don't have so much energy, and we don't have so much power to say, hey, we will be able to conquer whatever the future will hold for us, because this is the future. We can act right now. We have an impact on our reality, but we cannot say, hey, we'll be able to do only the good things in the future. So yeah, I understand you, and I completely I support this kind of viewing the how the technology should be used, because otherwise there's like chaos. We will be able to, we'll let the hell loose and tell people, there's like technology, you can use it. We do not have these schemes right now because just we are only the people focusing on how to develop a program, how to read a code, but we don't want it. We wanted to know the outcome, how this algorithm will behave in the future, because we are just data analysts, we are just business owners, and I don't care. I'm just paid for being data analyst, not for the person who is like thinking about the future. So from your perspective, about looking at what companies currently and will be a while, who will be the biggest player in AI? The big tech companies, not even existing right now, small startup who will be able to conquer the whole world with this one single algorithm. What's your bet?
What's my bet? Okay, maybe I will start with this. Nobody would probably imagine that COVID will happen. Nobody would imagine that Buterik will happen, right? So he's like a hero of the last weeks, and probably a year ago or 2 years ago, nobody would bet on him. So the situation changes, but we definitely can say who will be the leader, I mean the company leader for the next years. One of them will be definitely Google, the second will be Microsoft for sure, the same Facebook, the same Amazon, the same Tesla, because they have very strong technology and they have data, right? And the same for Apple, sorry. So, and Netflix, and maybe some others. So the list is getting longer.
And
so
some
the companies,
as well.
yes, definitely about the Chinese market. So the companies who definitely hold a lot of data, and they have very talented data scientists. Of course, now let's mention also NVIDIA. So the list will get longer and longer. But I believe that in the future, it will be more like a Star Wars. I mean, like a competition between countries, and it already is right now.
Yeah.
Because if you perceive like Chinese companies as Chinese and particularly like supported by a government companies. And now they want to, for example, conquer the American market of cars. I mean, electric cars. And look what happens. Tesla is going down. You know that the Chinese will do a lot. This is what they did in Uber, with Uber and Didi. You know the story probably, right? If our listeners don't know, like the Chinese government subsidized Didi for a very long period of time, so they can compete with Uber in terms of.
Uber have to sell.
Yes, no, they didn't have to. They just sold it because they bankrupt.
They went business problem.
Really bankrupt. So Didi overtook the business that was existing in China, and actually now Didi is the only one. So, but they did it in China. Now they try to do it everywhere else.
Not
yet, of course. So we have Chinese, super strong ones, and they work in this scheme like 6 days per week, definitely from 9 a.m. until 9 at night. I didn't believe it until the moment I went there, and it's actually true.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they work a lot. So there's a lot of talented people taken from rural areas, and they become programmers. They are paid very well, and they work like 12 hours a day, 6 days per week, and they are happy because they know that they have a vision. They are doing something greater. So I cannot imagine.
Yes, the biggest project.
Yes,
you know.
The same for US. US have money, have greatest startups right now. Europe not so much, but look at what's happening with Arabic countries and with Saudi Arabia. They have loads of money, and they started to build this Neom city, and they have this vision for 2030 of becoming the third AI power, at least for Arabic world and Islamic world. And let's look at what's going on with India. They are starting to participate in this competition. They have one thing that others don't. They have people. And if you look at the numbers of training facilities and online courses, majority of them are actually in English, but designed by people for India, in India. So
no wonder the CEOs of the biggest companies. Yeah, this is like you just paint a picture of our future. Like you said about the Europe, that's frightened me, because we live in Europe. We probably will be living out till our last days. And the question is, why the hell the Europe is not seeing the same problem as all the rest of the world? Because we will be powerless, we'll be defenseless. We have to be looking at the biggest, more sophisticated, more whatever countries, and we have to just reach and say, hey, could you lend me some technology? Can you implement your AI, even if it's unethical? Because we have, this need. Our country needs this AI, and just what happened with the communication system. Chinese developed 5G, and they just wanted to share with the whole world, and this is the problem, because we already know that this is very false statement. It's not for free. There's nothing free in this.
Yes.
The data is a oil of the current world. So we have to be afraid of this kind of gifts given by the people who, we don't know how they will do in the future. So, what do you think about the Europe? Why we are not fighting for the AI problems, and why this is like lack of everything here?
I
We're
don't
too
know.
lazy. We
Like,
just
are we too lazy? Actually, I believe that maybe it will be quite controversial,
Sure.
but I believe we are too comfortable.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wouldn't say lazy,
Mhm.
because like there are more lazy nations than like Europeans. For example, Arabic countries, but still they are doing very good, very well, because they have this vision, and they don't fool themselves that without any investments, by just them being so great, we can survive. And this is what Europe does. Now I listen to all the discussions about ethical AI, and some European oriented people who believe in Europe, and very well, let them believe in Europe, but let's do something about it. So those people, they say, yeah, we'll conquer all other countries in technological battle, in this Star Wars, by being ethical. And they say, okay, great. So what else? What you will have as your product of your ethical discussions? So I would assume that probably there will be some kind of a special movement or support program or some money supporting, we want to specialize in ethical products. And I would be one of them. I would be amazed, right? But they say, no, we are discussing how it should look like. Okay, so let's discuss. While while other companies and countries, they are working literally 12 hours a day, 6 days per week, we discuss. And basically, to give you an example, there will be one European fund called Horizon, right? It will start in September. I'm not an expert, so I can be mistaken here.
It's a EU grant.
It's a EU grant, quite huge, supporting technologies, and people can apply from all the countries, and 20 projects or 40 projects will be chosen, not more. So what chances do they stand? What chances do they have here? Now we have in Europe, if we assume that we have X investors, those investors are investing outside of Europe. We are not mentioning it, but they do, because money flows where the property, intellectual property is, and the talent pool are. So we as Poles, we are the best, one of the 3 best developers nations in the world. And what do we do about it? Majority of our data scientists do projects outside. They are going abroad, or they are working in Poland, but for other companies. So I believe that there are no such, I don't know what, I don't want to speculate right now what I would do, because I'm not in the place of those regulators and in place of European Union. But I definitely see a lack of supporting mechanisms for European companies, not for particular data scientists, but for companies, saying, okay, we'll give you money, we'll give you support, we'll give you help, and first of all, we will guarantee you a client. So this is what I want. I want a client. I want an e-commerce. And I know that in EU, Canada, and in States, there's 2.3 million e-commerces. I want to reach them. And how European Union is helping me? Not especially. Because there is no such an actual help. They will help me theoretically.
Yes.
And this is, I believe that it will be our curse. In several years, because we are waiting. We are not doing enough. I'm not saying we are not doing anything, but we are not definitely doing enough. We have very strong economies in Europe, like Germany and others, and we are like, how many AI talents we have them? How except for SAP, how many companies are there AI focused? Not so much in comparison to States, in comparison to China and all others. Like, maybe I shouldn't say too much, but I'm like,
Worry?
Not worried. I was proud of Europe for a long time to be European, and I still am due to cultural heritage.
Yeah.
But everyone is asking me, Maria, what are you still doing in Europe? Not in Poland, but in Europe generally. And I say, I believe this product is European. Our system is European. Let's make this economies better. But I can see, from my point of view, that those economies are not helping me that much, because majority of European countries, they ask me one question: have you implemented it already in the States?
The biggest
And
market.
I say, come on, yeah, I know this is the biggest market, but maybe we could start with you promoting European businesses. And there are some companies who do this, but not that much. And it all starts with money. So we should, focus on some kind of a strategy for making money out of European AI, and to keep the IPs here. And I don't see it happening. And I cannot even see any initiatives that start doing it. So, but still, there is hope.
Well, maybe one day. Okay, so let's finish with something maybe much more optimistic. What is your biggest AI-related dream?
I thought about this question because I got this question from you earlier.
Better world, safest
Everybody
world.
says that, let's make a better world with, with my algorithm, with your algorithm, with another social media, with, it's like...
It's the same speech, mostly.
It's the same speech. It doesn't bring much value because we all know that we want to make a better place, usually for ourselves, right? I mean, this is what startups do. I think I have a different dream. And it's not that unrealistic. I believe that in the future, in the next several years, all people, at least majority of them around the world, will become data literate. And this is my dream. Why? Because I believe that the education and this ability to use code to some extent, or to use the Lego blocks, as I explained, is the power of the future. And either you will be a consumer of those technologies, or you will be at least a contributor, or you will understand how they work, so you are not like the, you know how you are not a helpless person. This is not happening right now. As you can see, you asked me this question, am I lost? Come on, you or all other millions of people here? No, they are not. It just takes a bit of time, and it's not that difficult. And we are in our LogicAI Academy say the same. Just come to us, give us a couple of days, and you will know exactly what you need to continue your career in AI. So I believe that in some countries that won't have the same level of education as China has, as America has, as Canada has, and Europe still has, or Russia or India, all other countries will be in a worse position. So they will be dominated by others who have the data and who have algorithms, because this is what you said. Just they will be forced to use other countries' technologies, and those technologies will be always for the best, created to to optimize, not to help the company, the country that they are selling it to, but to the country that is selling, right? For example, China. And those countries, without a group of talented people, maybe not even talented, but people who know what's going on, they will be helpless. They will be like people in the fog, in cloud, saying, okay, we'll buy it, we'll take it, because they will not have the ability to verify what is wrong, what is right, what can be detrimental to them. And this is the worst case scenario that I can see here, that some countries will get even poorer, and the best talents from them, this is what's going on in Africa right now, will be taken from. This is what some companies are already doing in Africa, verifying people, local people, taking the best talents and taking them out to other countries, right? Because there is a lot of talented data scientists there. But at the beginning of the road, right? But let's imagine if we could invest and we could help all those companies and all those countries that are poor, that are not educated to this extent in terms of AI and data science, and help them somehow, they might become our partner. So everybody gains and everyone can win. And it's not like, I believe in like that the stronger economies, I mean like countries are, the stronger the economy like as a whole. But we know that some countries and some regions want to dominate others. And I am afraid, if you ask me what I'm afraid of, like most, is like some countries will dominate the world and will not only affect and use their power of technology, but the next step after the technology will be the culture and will be the religion. And one will go after the other, and the economies and the world will split to the group of the ones that have power, and the power is AI, and those who don't. So I hope that we will not stay inactive. And this is my dream. I would like all the countries in the world to have the same access to data science and to this AI power. And now let's the race start, because I know that they won't have data to this extent as others do have. But let's not assume that they are lost. They still have talented people. They can do a lot. At least they can choose. They have this choice once they are educated.
Oh my God. I can only support your vision and your dream. I think this is something that everyone should be aiming for, because otherwise, we are lost. We are children in the fog. We are lesser. We have some problems in the future. Not because of the economy, but because, like you said, the cultural reason, the religion, and etc. All right, Maria, thank you very much for being with us here today. That was I would say, very honest conversation. Not very optimistic one, but very honest. Once again, my name is Artur Kurasiński, and this is the podcast about the early adopters, technology, and change. My today's guest was Maria Parysz, CEO of LogicAI. Please like, share, leave a comment below. This will help us to get to broader audience. Thank you very much, guys, and see you next time.
Boom. Wow. Stop. What? Bye.